Hi everybody, it's Zach again, and welcome back to my Life with Zach channel, where we talk about really anything that's going on with my life, including the stuff that I use in reviews, um, historical research that I'm doing, cool things that I find, or really any topic that I kind of just want to talk about for that day. I hope you're enjoying the videos and get a chance to like or subscribe to some of the things that you might find interesting. Today I wanted to take the chance to talk about the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, I know for a lot of people, this has been kind of a confusing or controversial topic, and I'm just really hoping that my experience with the vaccine might help you make decisions about what you should do and relate to a real person in terms of what they went through with the vaccine. I'm also going to be really upfront and say that I believe in vaccinations and I believe in the science behind them, and that have faith in scientists and my doctors and stuff that tell me, hey, you should do this. It's safe for you, that I kind of follow that advice because I know I am not a medical expert. So, and I don't have the time to be. So, if I'm not seeing something that's blatantly obvious, that's blatantly dangerous, I have to rely on them to tell me what is best for me because they are the experts. Just like I know a lot of people rely on me in things that I'm an expert with. So I have to put that same faith in them that people put in me because I trust them, I know them. So if you're in any way confused about what should I do, like where do I fall, like is this a good idea for me? My number one piece of advice is to say, go talk to your doctor. Go talk to someone who you trust, who has experience with a vaccine that can say, yes, you should do this. Because the second thing I want to say about this video is this is not medical advice. Like, I am not in any way a medical professional, and I cannot tell you anything about any of the side effects or how it might affect you personally. I can just share my experience. So what happened with me in the COVID-19 vaccine? I was really lucky in the fact that I was able to get the vaccine early. I'm a volunteer firefighter, so that put me in a high category here in Virginia. And I actually got the vaccine on the second week that it was available in my locality. So right after the nurses and the doctors and staff at the hospital. And one of the things that was really cool was my doctor was like the first person at our local hospital to get the COVID-19 vaccine. So, and he ended up like in the newspaper and posted all about it on social media. So I was able to follow his experience and learn from him like a week in advance before I got both my first and second shot, like what he went through and whether it was similar to like what I might deal with. So I got my first shot on December the 28th here at our local hospital. I'll say that they were great. Like, I don't know what your hospital might be like or where you might have to go get yours, but they made this like a super, super, super easy thing to do. I think they probably knew that people might be hesitant to go and get the shot and they might not want to wait in lines and stuff. So they like scheduled the right number of people. They scheduled the right number of times. It was like super easy. I walked in, I filled out a little bit of paperwork. It took like 5 minutes, and then suddenly they were there with a shot in like 2 seconds. It was over. Now, then, of course, you do have to wait for a little bit after the shot in order to make sure you don't have a reaction. I had to wait 20 minutes. I was able to sit there and watch TV and talk to some people that I knew. I didn't have any reactions, and they gave me some cookies afterwards, so it was well worth the wait. But it was a super easy process, and everyone I've talked to, both in my locality and other places, it's been super easy. If they went to like a hospital or a public health place. The one place where I think people have had some problems is when they go to some of these mass vaccination clinics. So many people show up at one time to try to get the vaccine that it overwhelms things. So we've had areas here where people are backed up like miles trying to get in to get the vaccination. And that has nothing to do with the people actually giving it. It just has to be that there's so many people there. And even the people I talked to that went to those kind of places, when they got in, Like the process was super duper easy for them, and it was super duper fast. But they just had to wait really long, like in their car, and then just to try to get in to get the vaccine. Um, so, but I will say, if you're able to get an appointment and like go to the hospital or the health department or something, then I don't think you will have any problem. But if you're going to one of these mass vaccination places, just realize you might have to wait a little bit in order to get in. So, like I said, the shot itself was super easy. I got the Moderna vaccine. That was what was available here because we didn't have the deep freeze storage that the Pfizer vaccine had, and of course Johnson and Johnson wasn't yet available. I really didn't have any problems at all with my first shot. My arm was a little sore like the next day, but I didn't have any bad feelings or anything like that. I didn't, like I said, it took 2 seconds. It didn't even really hurt. Some people I talked to had a few issues with the first Moderna shot. More people that I know that had reaction to the first shot actually got the Pfizer one, but I don't think there's been any research that I've seen or for experts that I've talked to that said, yeah, one of these is worse than the first shot versus the second one. I think it's just the experiences people had. So I got the shot, and then of course had to wait 28 days. And when I went in for the second one, they had obviously ramped up the vaccinations here. It was in a much larger space, and while maybe there were like 8 people at a time getting the shot the first round in the smaller room, the second one I went in, there were probably like 40 people in there at one time, and they were just like moving them through just like that. So I went into this big room, checked in. It was, like I said, it was much larger scale operation, and I went in and got my second shot. It was just as easy as the first one. So I just checked in, gave them the card that I got my vaccination, the first one, and it was time for my second one. It got the shot, and it took like 2 seconds. Then I waited again for 20 minutes, felt fine, got a free mask and a free sticker, and left. Now I will say 2 things that I wanted to talk about too are like the appointments. I didn't have any issues at all with the appointments, probably because I went so early. So like the first one came out in an email to me, and basically there were slots there that people had signed up for and let me know that there were empty slots for those times, and I just picked the one I wanted, and I got this email confirmation. And then like that day before I was supposed to go, it was like, hey, don't forget that your shot's coming up. And I went and got the shot. The second one, basically what just happened was I got 2, maybe it was 3 email reminders being like, hey, don't forget your shot is this day. And I had the option to pick a time. So I went in kind of basically the same way as the other one and picked the time I wanted to go on that day. But the appointments and stuff were super easy. I know here in Virginia, some people are having some issues because just the number of people that tried to log on early on to get appointments, and they had to like here sit around their computer at a specific time to like wait until that loaded and try to get one of those spots. I guess because I went early with fire and rescue and there were a certain number of spots set aside for us, that wasn't an issue for me. But I think, from my understanding, that's gotten a whole lot better in Virginia because now there's a statewide list. There's a statewide waiting list. And you basically can just call or go online, get on this list, and as soon as there's a slot, they like put you in it. So now if it was me, like now, just general Zach going to get the shot, while I might have been frustrated earlier from talking to people that I know, I don't think right now that I would be frustrated at all with trying to sign up, even if I didn't have the internet or anything like that. The second thing that I kind of wanted to reflect on, in addition to the, like signing up and how easy that was kind of my reaction to the second shot. So I did have a little bit of a negative reaction to that second shot. Um, my appointment was at like 11, was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and around 7 o'clock in the evening, I started to kind of feel bad. I had taken some ibuprofen to try to ward that off, and I think what happened was that ibuprofen wore off, and I didn't take any more because I thought I was fine, and I started to get chills. I started to get some fatigue and some like body aches and stuff that evening, and that really continued for 24 hours. Now, what I was able to do was if I took medicine to control that, it actually got a whole lot better. So, like, I would have times the next day where I felt fine. And then as that medicine started to wear off, like 6 hours after I took it, I would feel terrible and just need to lay down because I actually had no energy to go do anything. Like, um, I couldn't go or move or anything. I just wanted to like lay down. And also had chills and stuff. And well, they never took my temperature. I'm probably pretty sure that I had one. So, and I was expecting that. I had told the place I work, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be in tomorrow because I'm getting the shot. And I had to take the day off, not because I was like sick, but simply because I said to myself, I just cannot function like at work. I could maybe go in and, work for a couple of hours and then just have to take an hour off to just like lay down until I was able to take more medicine. So I didn't go in. I slept a lot and just hung out with Chief. And then in the afternoon, it started to get a little bit better. And by 7 o'clock that evening, it was like, poof, it's gone. The only lingering thing that I had was a headache that lasted for a day or two. My understanding is that may have been caused by some dehydration that came with being sick. I tried to drink a lot of water and electrolytes and stuff, but apparently I just couldn't keep up. So I had a little bit of a headache, and a lot of people I've talked to who had reactions even afterwards had a headache after. Now, was that debilitating? No. It was just more of an annoyance or anything. So, yeah, I did have a reaction to the shot. And was it a big deal? I don't know. I mean, it affected me and I had to miss a day of work. But the one thing I'll say is I know a lot of people who had reactions and who had COVID. And they're like, that is what COVID felt like, but for 2 weeks. So as much as it sucked to be sick that day, I'm like, I couldn't imagine being sick like that for 2 weeks. Like, I couldn't imagine how horrible that would be to be that kind of sick. So I will say that if you're worried about one day of being sick, just think like what 2 weeks of that might feel like, and then make your decision about the COVID shot. And so that's how I'm like, I made the right decision, because if that's what COVID was like, I am so glad that I got the vaccine. And I would definitely recommend you getting the vaccine too, because you know what? I've seen people who COVID has taken out, who didn't make it, who were really sick from it. And I don't want anyone to be that way. And if the vaccine, even if it only prevents people from getting that sick, it's well worth it. Okay. Even if it doesn't prevent you from getting sick at all, but like it just keeps you from getting seriously ill, it's well worth it. But we know that it's really effective at keeping you from getting sick at all. It's even more effective at keeping you from getting seriously affected by it. And also is starting to show that it prevents some transmission. So definitely go out and get the COVID-19 vaccine, because I haven't heard of anyone, and I know like hundreds of people that have taken the shot, and none of them have had a horrible reaction. No one's died. No one's had any long-term thing. I don't have any microchips in my arm from anyone telling me what to do. I joke around with people about that, but obviously it hasn't happened. And I definitely would say, having experienced what COVID felt like for 24 hours, You don't want that. So go get the shot. If you have any comments, please make sure that they're kind of reasonable comments and leave them here. I'm always welcome to have a discussion about stuff. And if you like this video, like it, subscribe to my channel. There's going to be a whole lot more stuff coming about really anything to do with my life. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day. See you soon.